Hello, welcome to the Offbits for June. I had a lot of setbacks this month, so I didn't really paint a lot, and as a consequence, I only had one cancelled project for this video. Please enjoy the music. I'll begin narrating at random points in the video to talk about some things that are going on with this channel and my hobby life in general. So first up on the list is the rate of the videos being produced will probably slow down for a bit. This is because it's much harder for me to paint in the colder months on account of the paint takes a lot longer to dry and sometimes doesn't dry for hours and upon hours. The reason why the production will probably slow down a bit is because when I used to paint in my area at nighttime, the area where I use has actually got broken lights in the ceiling. So I have to use flood lamps, and recently one of the light bulbs on that has blown out. And it's only half as bright and very hard to paint, but the biggest problem is that the camera can't actually pick it up in that lighting, so I have to wait for sunny days, or I have to paint with the light pointed in such a way where it constantly reflects off of my palette and I can barely see. In case anyone hadn't noticed from the previous video, I am actually using a new airbrush. My old one had broke previously, so I couldn't really work on a lot of my other projects. Thankfully, the airbrush arrived roughly a few days before a project would have been started too late otherwise. The Flamespire Phoenix was a birthday present, as I said in that video, but the airbrush that I was going to use to paint that broke literally about a day before I was going to begin on that project. So this new one does work a lot better, which is odd because it was cheaper. So hopefully in the future when I begin on a much larger project, which I won't announce yet, I should be able to get much better results than if I had have used the old airbrush. I'll touch a little here onto why this kit got cancelled. Basically, whenever I like to start a model kit, the initial painting is either really boring or is really fun. And for this kit, starting out was quite fun, it was very enjoyable. But as I got further and further into this kit, when it got to, for instance, edge highlighting or applying some washes, it was progressively getting less and less entertaining to paint. And I more or less was getting sick of painting it. I was also unfortunate and managed to lose 3 brushes to mold, because after I washed them I had forgot to dry them, and I left them encapsulated in a little plastic tube overnight. So this kit more or less was giving me a lot of frustration, and I was dreading working on it again, so I just decided to do what I felt was best and shelve it for the time being, because this was not worth it in my opinion to just keep going on with this while it was just not fun. take this time to thank a few people who I shared my videos with. They gave me some nice compliments. They felt that I was putting a lot of hard work into these things, and that is partially true. These are what I enjoy doing the most, but it brings a smile to my face knowing that people are happy with the content that I make for them. So thank you to the people who said the nice things to me on a Discord server. You know who you are. I'm just going to give a very quick mini review for a product that I have currently. It's Army Paints' Rust Paint. I don't actually remember what it's called, but I thought I would give a quick review because I honestly don't feel that the paint does really what it says, or what you'd think it would do based on the name. I mean, it works well as a semi-metallic dull orange, but it doesn't really emulate the effect of rust like they said. So maybe I'm using it wrong. If anyone knows how to use it correctly in the comments, please tell me, because I don't think it's intended to be dry brushed with. Or if it is, maybe I just didn't do it right, but either way I wouldn't recommend it. I'll quickly just mention here, you'll occasionally hear me pronounce some words a bit weirdly, or I'll start to go a bit nasal. The reason for that is that I have what's called acute rhinitis, and basically my sinuses get set off a lot by things that really shouldn't set it off, and I often have a stuffy nose and difficulty breathing, so that's sometimes why the narration sounds a bit weird. I'd just like to take this time to give a huge thanks to the people on Imgur who shared my galleries around to friends and other people. My Dungeons & Dragons Silver Dragon model recently hit 3,000 views, and it means the world to me that people think that my content is good enough to share with other people. I'd like to put it into words more, what I'm trying to say, but I think you probably get the general idea of how grateful I am, so thanks again for that. Thank you for watching the video. I'll probably stick more with this less narration format because the videos are far more enjoyable for me to create that way and more satisfying to watch.